Okay, so I'm not really great with explaining a lot of these things, but I will try my best. Let me turn down the volume a little bit so I can be heard better. Um, Basically, this is just going to be a quick little run through on how to use TinyTask and how to set up a macro in FnTD for it. So, first things that I want to get out of the way is going into presets, which is basically just settings. Set your recording key to print screen. If you don't want it to be print screen, you can do it to something else. I use print screen personally. You can use F8, F12, and then set your playback key. I set it to F8 all the time. Turn on continuous playback. Make sure that it's on because that's how you get your loops to go infinitely while you're gone. Because if you don't turn this on, it'll just play the macro once and then not do anything else. That's really important. Don't ever forget continuous playback. Now, when it comes to actually recording the macro, that is a different story. So I'm going to drag this over to my second screen because you guys don't have to see it. Well, I guess I should note this first. When it's recording, it'll tell you that it's recording, it'll tell you the time, and this icon will turn red. When you finish recording, if you like the macro, you can save it. If you don't like it, you can just close it out and start a new one. But if the macro works, please remember to save it so you don't have to record it again. Give it a name, turn it into a file, put it away somewhere safe, keep it. That's important, that's good. We like good macros. Now, I'm going to drag this over to the side because you guys don't need to see it. And I'm just going to show you guys the general idea on how to set up a macro for TinyTask. If you're using something that isn't Frettles, a starter that isn't Frettles, I recommend going to at least game 2 or higher. If you want profit and you have good enough units, you can hit 4, 5, or 6. I personally play on game 6 because it makes the most money and it's still just as fast, if not faster than doing 1-1 with Frettles. I think my current macro sits at 2 minutes and 10 seconds per cycle, and that's including a security check to make sure that it continues. Without that security check, it's probably closer to 2 minutes flat. So, I'm not gonna go for speed on this. I'm gonna start my recording by clicking print screen. I'm gonna make sure that I tab into the game so my cursor's here by clicking on somewhere in the game. I'm gonna click the game, the night I want to play, set what difficulty I want, and click vote. Very straightforward. You're just starting your game, but you have to make sure that you record that. You gotta wait. Always about the same wait time. And give it a little time for extra loading in case you want to wait for lag. If you're playing on hard, impossible, or nightmare, you're always going to be met with this screen. If you're on easy or medium, don't worry about this. But if you're met with this screen, I recommend grabbing your units and placing them down first. Don't place them as close to the track as you can, because sometimes the spawns will change, and then that'll cause your units to go on the track and they won't be placed down, and that'll kill the macro. So I like to place them a little bit further out to give myself a little security on that. Like I said, macros, they are not 100% consistent. You have to be safe with it. Alright? So, place down your starters. If you can, place down a booster. Obviously, I know not a lot of people have this. And then choose what you want to do. Alright? That's pretty straightforward. From here, you're basically just playing the game without ever moving your camera or your character. Just click on units, upgrade them. If you can, go through it twice, make sure they're upgraded. You know, give it a little extra security, because again, macros are not safe, they're not secure. So just place down anything and everything you can, give yourself some time, make sure everything works out. Alright, whenever you place something down, I recommend upgrading it first, place it further out, and then you can place something closer. Make the most of your space, because like I said, you cannot move your character's camera or the character itself. Theoretically you can, it's not recommended. If you do that, there's a good chance that your macro will break at some point, because TinyTask doesn't like WASD keys. I don't know why. I've been messing around with it. I've been trying to figure out how to fix it. Don't really know why it doesn't work. But the moment you get all your units placed down, right around wave 13, 12, whatever it is, start clicking in this just above the little gap between your second and third unit slots, because this is where the yes screen, the yes button for continuing is whenever your win screen pops up. And this is where the yes continue button is. You want to start clicking here early to give yourself security, because sometimes lag will ensue and that'll cause you to start late or get there early. Sometimes the boss will die at a different time as it did before. No two games are 100% the same. So what you really want to focus on in these macros is making sure that everything works guaranteed by giving yourself extra time. I know it sounds counterintuitive because you want your macro to be fast, but if you don't trust it or you don't have great units, give yourself security by starting things early. Right now I'm still clicking this same area just in case while I was asleep there was lag going on, so the boss died a little later. I have this extra time here to make sure that I click the button. You don't have to do it too long, like I'm gonna quit right about now, and then I'm gonna end the recording. And there we go. It is a screenshot taken because I have it set to print screen and that's my screenshot button for Roblox, but whatever, you know. Now, looking back at TinyTask, I want to save this recording first. I'm just gonna name this, I don't know, cool, whatever. There, now it's an official file. I can go and I can open it up whenever, so I can use it again for forever. I'm gonna make sure that I have continuous playback on. That's important, remember that. Play speed is at 1. My playback hotkey is F8. So I'm gonna pull this to the side again. Actually, just so you guys can see me tabbing in at the very start, I'm gonna put this up here. And I'm gonna click the playback key. It tabbed in by clicking on the screen. I'm not doing anything, my hands aren't even at the computer right now. I'm just talking to you guys. My mouse is turned off, I just turned it off. So, it's just doing whatever. This is just to show you that the macro does work if you do it the way I showed you, the way I said it. And obviously you don't have to have the same units I do, you don't have to do the same night I do. It's the same principle idea. Set your starter down, set down a booster if you can. Don't place things directly by the track if you can, because sometimes it doesn't work like that. So, make sure things are safe. They work well, you know? That's what we want. We want things to work. We don't need speed. Speed is nice, but speed doesn't matter if it breaks halfway through the night and you only get 20 wins. You know? That sucks. Happens a lot. You just have... Right there. I don't know if you guys could see it in the recording. Leg spike. Big leg spike. Ooh. But that's why we give ourselves security, you know? So, I'm gonna shut up now. I'm just gonna let this play out, and you guys will see. If I feel the need to say something, don't be surprised my voice just popped back in here. But for now, here's the macro. have it. That is how the macro works. That is how you use TinyTask to set up a macro in FnTD. Obviously, you can do it on any map, any difficulty, any level, whatever you want, whatever works best for your team and your units. I know a lot of people say that 1-1 with Freddles is like the go-to meta, and that was true for a while. But now, in more recent updates, I say recent, it's probably been a month or so since this happened, maybe a little longer, but they got rid of random camera spawn positions and random character spawn positions. So your character will always face the same way and be at the same spot every time. So you can use anything you want now. That's why I didn't use Freddles at all in this macro. So just do whatever works best for your team. You know, if you have things like Purple Guy or Tarnished, I'd recommend games 3 and 4. If you have Phone Guy, game 5. If you have Night Guard, game 6. Because you can do profit and time. It's really great. You know, if you're doing this for making profit overnight, definitely go for the higher levels. Try and hit, you know, maybe Nightmare or even Hell Mode if you can. That gives... I made 15,000 in value overnight on 6-1 Hell Mode. Using the team, not the team that I had right now, this is an even better team than what I did when I made 15,000. You know, that 15,000 allowed me to get a better team, so I can do this even faster and make more. But again, that's if you want to do it profit. If you want to grind crowns, maybe go for the lower levels. If you have a team like I do, which not everybody does, I understand that. If you don't, you can still do this at the same speed on a lower level, but if you have a team like I do, shoot for the higher levels, man. You can go really fast. You know, like I said, my current macro that I use for both clan grinding and money grinding is 2 minutes and 11 seconds per cycle. If I'm gone for, you know, if I sleep at 12 in the morning and I come back home from school at 2:15, that's when I first touch my computer after I set my macro. That's 14 and a half hours grinding. That's almost 400 crowns and, I don't know, 15 to 20,000 in value that I made just doing nothing. So, definitely worth it. I know that I'm ranting right here, but this is more or less how you do it. There's a lot of flexibility. What main thing you want to keep in mind is start clicking where that yes button is early. That's in the gap between the second and third unit, just above the gap. Make sure that you don't put units directly on the track, because sometimes the camera will shift slightly when you spawn. It's not supposed to, but it's inconsistent, so sometimes it will slightly shift, and if your units are right on the track, that slight shift has a chance of making you try and place units on the track in your macro. You won't get any units down, and you'll die. Don't want that. That's really bad. That will kill your macro until you come and fix it manually. Another thing to keep in mind, security. You know, we don't want the macro to die to lag spikes or loading times, so when you're waiting for things, give it time, make sure everything is tapped in. Don't do things too quickly. As we saw in the last macro, when I did that example run, 2 of my units didn't get upgraded, one of the Blighted Bonnies and the Fredbear. They didn't get upgraded because I was clicking too fast in the macro, and the macro didn't record it because I went too fast. So, again, take your time with doing things. Place down a unit, maybe give yourself a full second before you click on it again, and then upgrade it. You know, just be slow and steady wins the race. Be the turtle, not the rabbit. But that's the general idea. I've been ranting on here for too long. This is almost a 15-minute video. I'm sorry. Anyways, that's all. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, reach out to me on Discord. It's the same thing as my YouTube. Peace.